I said we're chatting. Yes, indeed, we're chatting. Welcome into Boston has entered the chat. Travis Thomas here with George Balekji. He had no idea I was going theme song on you, but I thought it was great.
Like, I pictured like the 90s, like the Jeffersons. We're chatting. Yes, we are. And it cuts to you like yelling at me.
I just want you to know the Jeffersons were the 70s.
I'm in the gym.
Just for the record.
And then I get up off the bench.
That would be so your scene, too. God.
More of a deadlift guy now.
Such of a Jersey bro scene. You're in the gym. It cuts to you.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What would be my scene?
Doing my hair.
What would I be doing?
Is this the 70s or now?
Well, you tell me.
It's you having a nice
You're
pint.
creating it.
You're having a nice pint. A cold beer.
Yeah, that's me.
No, actually, sorry. Margarita outside. About to bite into a taco.
That's me.
Hey.
That's me. Hey, Cinco de Mayo, too. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Best day of the year.
How about that? Is it?
I mean, I've been sober on Cinco de Mayo the last like 4 years. That's how you know you're a real adult. But yes, it's a great holiday growing up.
Oh.
Might get a marg later.
Hey, if you want to email us, the chat at Nesson.com.
About your favorite holidays.
Yeah, your favorite holidays. Give us a power ranking. You can also hashtag Nesson Chat and get at us there as well. Coming up, another close game, another close loss for the Red Sox. We'll break all that down. Plus, the Triston Casas injury. What does it mean short-term and long-term for this team moving forward? And, George, the Patriots Hall of Fame just got more crowded. We'll explain that. But, of course, it doesn't come without controversy. It wouldn't be us if we didn't debate it. Again, Boston has entered the chat, is interactive. Email us, the chat at Nesson.com. Also tweet at us using that hashtag NessonChat that we just talked about. So let's dive in here. Triston Casas, watching that game, I remember thinking, and I watched it in real time, and then I watched the interview or the replay, and I remember thinking, like, I still don't see where he planted, and we're so used to in sports now.
You see the moment.
Yeah, something, the moment, something pops, he plants wrong, it twists. And I just remember thinking it can't be good because of his reaction, but because I didn't see something overly dramatic happen to the knee, I was holding out some hope that maybe it wasn't that bad. It is ruptured patellar tendon for Triston Casas. So now let's go short-term and long-term here. Let's go short-term. What the hell do the Red Sox do at first base?
I mean, it looks like they're going to go with Romy Gonzalez, Abraham Toro, and a platoon at that point. And those are two guys that have MLB experience playing first base. I think that's the most important thing.
Yes.
You need to get by right now and buy yourself time. And I know a lot of movements, and we'll get into it, is, all right, what about Devers to first?
That's where I'm at.
Roman Anthony switches his position. Vaughn Grissom, he has played first base at MLB just 5 career games. Maybe you switch some guys. But right now, you need a first baseman. You just need the defense to take care of itself because it hasn't been fantastic.
No.
The issue with Casas going down is that that's a guy at that part of the lineup, you want 30, 35 home runs and 90 to 110 RBI out of them.
Right.
And that's what I was always saying. When Bregman drops into the lineup, what they have between their top 4, those are guys, especially 2, 3, 4 hitters.
Yeah.
When you have Devers, Casas, Bregman, or whichever order you want to put those 3 together, those are 3 guys that could get you 90 home runs combined, just at the bare minimum. So the issue is that they lack that power bat now, and then it amplifies where they lack production throughout the lineup, like a Cedane Rafaela. So if you have a Romy Gonzalez and Abraham Toro continue to play first base, but the bat isn't producing, okay, that's 2 holes in the lineup. Rafael is fantastic defensively in center field, but his bat production by the basic stats has gone down since last season. Romy Gonzalez and Abraham Toro, they don't have the ceiling that Casas has. Now, he was sub 200 hitting. His bat was slow to get off to start. He's always a slow starter to the season. But we started the power. We saw his eyes starting to catch up and him starting to produce. That's the first issue. So it's everything's looking defensively, but it's also what you lose with that lineup. And I know it's all potential, but that's what you get out of him when he's healthy, when he's playing 130-plus games. He's a big lefty bat, powerful hitter, and is a crucial part of that lineup. So it's not just, okay, who could play first? It's also, okay, what do we do with the bats? Because say if they go Gonzalez-Toro, then do you have Cedane Rafael in your lineup every day? That's tough to justify because that's someone, again, that's not producing to what you want him to be producing.
Man, you're preaching, bro. Listen, I am 1,000% convinced that it should be Devers at first base. And my thought process is twofold because you bring up a great point with the bat aspect of this. If you move Raffy to first base, of course it's going to take him time to figure out that position, the footwork, all the fundamentals. I get that, right? I'm not a seam head, but I at least understand that transitional period, we'll call it, where Rafi has to sort of learn the nuance of first base.
Yeah.
I think that's one piece of it, playing the position. I also think, look, I mean, let's address the elephant in the room here, George, because we did this a lot during spring training when there were rumors that Rafi would be moved off of third base for Bregman.
Yeah.
And I remember us having the conversations of you have to make sure he's on that same page. He's okay with it, right? And then we know what happened as that kind of played out. So I think there's that aspect too, George, of if this is a real conversation that is being had, Rafi to first, you better be ahead of it with him. You better be having the conversations with Rafi now.
Yeah.
That this is coming. Maybe this platoon thing is what it is short term, but Rafi, we're giving serious thoughts to moving you and starting to work you out at first base. Okay, so that's sort of twofold. The other side of this, the benefit of moving him there, in my opinion, if you move Rafi to first, now the DH can open. Now, maybe it's Anthony, I don't know, but now you could start to have those sort of conversations of, okay, Yoshida or Anthony or whoever's, we're going to slide into that DH position, and maybe you don't lose the bat in the lineup.
Okay.
That's another thing where I'm thinking, and maybe someone check me if I'm being disrespectful to first base and acting like it's easy to pick up. But to my understanding in baseball, it's not the hardest position to pick up.
Yeah.
So I would be willing to go to Rafi preemptively, proactively. Hey, this is what we want to do. This will free us up to get another bat in this lineup more consistently. We believe you can play the position. Boom. And I'm working Rafi to first, and then DH, I can figure that out.
My thing with Rafi, and I see when you have that trickle-down effect on the lineup, because it's also the issue is that Connor Wong's back in the lineup.
Right.
That's a guy hitting sub 150.
Yeah.
Like he has not been hitting well.
He has not.
Whatsoever. By putting Rafi to first,
I think so.
It opens up the DH spot, and if a Roman Anthony's called up, I think that's what's smart. But my issue with Rafael Devers to first, his shortcomings playing defensively at third have been fielding errors. Not throwing errors, fielding errors.
Yes.
So now you're going to have every batted ball into the infield pretty much come in his general direction. And when the bat is picking up and he's getting situated as a designated hitter and he's finally starting to pick it up and be okay and be fine and he can continue to get better, now you're switching the routine again.
Right.
So that's
Fair.
a thing.
Fair point.
So that's why I don't love it, but
it's an option.
Here's the other way with it too. You say Roman Anthony, it's Rafi to first, Marcelo Meyer to third, who's a good defenseman.
I know.
But he plays middle infield, but he's not as like 100%
what are you
solid
doing with
shortstop.
Bregman?
Bregman stays as short.
Okay.
Or at second, excuse me. No, excuse me, short.
You move him.
And then Christian Campbell's at second. See, it's a lot of moving parts. And then you keep your outfield intact. Marcelo Meyer's bat's been producing.
What are you doing with Story?
Story's as short.
Well, you got a lot of shortstops here. You see what I'm saying?
It would be, yeah.
It's tough. Now, let's stay here for a second.
See, I even talked myself through the confusion.
No,
of it
it's
all.
not confusing. You just have an extra
player.
That's
even forgetting Stories as short at that point.
Let's also stop down for a second on this. This is first world problems for the Red Sox. Like, I understand.
They have an outfield log jam.
Yeah.
They have an infield log jam now. Between Meyer, Story,
I don't want to take away from losing Casas.
Yeah.
But this team does have bodies. It's just a matter of Alex Cora, dare I say it, almost playing with a Rubik's Cube and figuring out who goes where.
Yeah.
But again, this kind of goes back. I feel like Devers to first makes sense. Now, if it doesn't go well, to your point, then okay. But I'm also willing to give it some time. This is why I say you can't understate talking to Rafi directly. Because if it's not going well, you almost bake that in a way. Like, hey, Rafi, like even if you struggle a little bit here at first, we're going to stick with it. We're going to stick through this transition. We believe this is the best, way for our team to win. And I would think he would get behind that. So even if there are growing pains, to your point, because he's getting so many grounders at him, I just think you had to work through that. I think the most logical thing for the Red Sox here, as long as everyone can be on the same page in a conversation behind closed doors, is moving Rafi to first. I really do. And then your DH completely opens. Anthony,
it could be Bregman.
Yoshida when he comes back. Could be Bregman. You can mix and match this lineup. That's why I think the move is Devers to first. One more quick thing, though. Casas, I am so fascinated now by his future here.
Yeah.
Because this is a guy we were sort of waiting on to become a absolute star here. The personality was there. The style was there. Even I didn't love the strikeouts personally, but it's not like dude can't hit a baseball over those mountains.
Yeah.
He can hit. So all of it was coming together, and I just feel like most of us in the media and certainly Red Sox fans were waiting for it to all come together, and this is our guy. He's a star, and his numbers are there.
Yeah.
And now he has this injury, and I wonder, because coming back from this injury, he's a big cat. Mm-hmm. He's sort of a lumbering dude. How are you going to be? Is that power going to be there? Is that torque going to be there? Are you going to be able to put weight? And I mean, some of it I think ruptured because he was running.
It was weird. He got wobbly in his left leg, straight out, and that's what it looked like it was. This is a guy that missed 95 plus games with a rib injury last year in the cartilage he was dealing with. So now it's his age 24, 25, and potentially age 26 season going away. Those are such key developmental years for someone that has all the potential in the world. But you have to be out there, A, seeing the ball, B, just getting those reps in the field and in the box.
What kind of player are you coming back from this injury? It's a big question, George.
And this is a team right now where the World Series window is now.
Yes.
Now, they have not lived up to expectations. The Red Sox have been inconsistent. But you look at the timing of the contracts they've doled out.
That's right.
Of extending Garrett Crochet while he's still in his young window, but giving him the money now while he's in his physical prime, and we'll get into it. They have Jaron Duran up that's next to get paid. Christian Campbell's gotten paid. They have Devers
Leo's been paid.
Bregman, for the next 3 years is here. He has the opt-outs.
That's right.
So this is a team where their window is now, and they can't wait for any position, and they can't wait for a spot in the lineup.
That's right.
Catcher and first base, those two spots, mainly offensively, those have to be their biggest priorities right now.
And bullpen, I would throw in there as well.
All
these things can be addressed at the deadline, so you should see a more active Sox at the deadline, I would think. But right now, you got to figure it out, too.
And I think for now, the short term is someone that plays first. Romy Gonzalez, Abraham Toro, Vaughn Grissom's played first.
Short term.
Rob Refsnyder's played first at the major league level.
Yes.
And then it is working. I would not be shocked to see Devers out there. And you talk about the opening up of the DH spot.
I'm telling you.
To me, that's where a Bregman goes to DH.
Sure.
Then a Meyer can drop into third, and you keep your middle infield the same. You want to keep, but whatever you do, you want to keep it consistent as can be for the young guys. Christian Campbell's playing second. Keep it consistent for him. And if you bring up a Meyer or a Roman Anthony, keep it consistent for them. If you want to bring up Roman Anthony as a DH, you do that. Let him get used to being in the major league level, then work him into the field.
Yeah.
And it is something we've seen them when Kyle Schwarber was traded for a few years ago. He was playing first base for the first time. He was playing in playoff games. I say this because I picture the call-up would be Roman Anthony first. Wilyer Abreu, can you learn first base? Because that's a good bat. Right. And that's someone that's good defensively. Right. So it's someone I trust more at first base learning a brand new position. Someone I trust more than a Rafael Devers learning a brand new position. And then in right field, that's Roman Anthony.
Yes.
And so that's where I could see all the cards falling. But I want to keep things the same for Christian Campbell. I want him to stay at second. I want him playing every day. At shortstop with Trevor Story, what do you get? And then to your effect, though, you bring up the DH conversation. Okay, then if you move a Devers out of the DH spot, could Story be the DH? And then Meyer's playing short. You just want consistency. Again, when I just look at the three spots in the lineup, catcher, center field, and first base now, that's a lot of concern in those spots when it comes to how Connor Wong's hitting in the 8 spot, Ceddanne Rafael at the 9. And you're going to now have Romy Gonzalez, your first baseman, hitting 7th.
Sure.
And the effect it puts on of Trevor Story now steps up, is 4th spot in the lineup potentially for the Red Sox. Yeah. That's a 700 OPS hitter. That's not what you want in the 4-hole. That's not what you want in the cleanup spot. So that's where my concern goes more lineup than defense. But you have to have a solution defensively first and foremost. And they're the guys, there are the externals. Like maybe trade for Rhys Hoskins. He's 32. It's a righty bat. He'll do well. That's a 25-30 home run guy with 800 OPS.
Yeah, there's other guys.
That's what you get at first base.
Josh Bell's out there.
Yeah, he's like hitting 140 this season.
Yeah.
Like that's atrocious. Anthony Rizzo isn't with the team.
Yeah.
There's John Singleton who's
There's
been
some
hitting okay.
Scrap heap.
Yeah. And then you have the prospects. If you bring up a Roman Anthony, all right, he goes, you put him at right. How do you move this outfield? And maybe it isn't.
You could also do DH, George.
Maybe it's not pulling Willier out of right. Maybe it's moving Jaron Durant to center, Willier going to left. There's a lot of different spots.
You could also just DH. I just think that's why I'm saying.
It's tough for me to see Rafael Devers playing first.
Why? Not me.
Again, because the fielding issues were him with fielding balls. And I get the buy-in for the team.
First base fielding's much different than third.
Yes.
Third base is not called the hot corner for a reason. I think he's very capable of it. I just think it's twofold. It's, are they willing to do it, and is he willing to do it? And I think that's a fair conversation to be had. But if he is, I think it's the move, personally. Also,
if you tap back into his routine of being an everyday fielder,
that's what I'm saying.
And that's what's better for him to be a DH, and he's with it for first,
I think it's a no-brainer. Can I also say, aside, first base, we're going to talk about it till we're blue in the face. It'll probably be an issue all year, I guess. We'll see. But, man, it feels like first base, and this is not taking anything away from Triston Casas, it is the least of their problems right now. This team, George, cannot win close games.
Yeah.
And so if I'm Alex Cora, I do not envy. This is where we look at skippers and the money that these managers make, and Cora's paid up there.
Oh, yeah.
But I look at that job right now, and I'm like, I have zero envy to ever do that. I don't want that position, because Alex Cora has to figure out what we're sitting here debating. What the hell am I doing at first base long term? But then also, this team has lost 9 one-run games.
Yeah.
Like, they're a 500 team. If you took those 9 one-run losses, don't even get me started on the 2-run losses, but they're just 1 runs.
Yeah.
I mean, this team's 9 games above 500, which is all of us feel like they should be.
Yeah.
They are losing these close games, and I'm sure it is driving Alex Cora mad of, like, why are we doing this? Now, it's easy to point at different things. You could use first base. You could say the bullpen. But he's got to figure that out.
Yeah.
So figuring out first base, it is a laundry list right now. The great thing for the Sox, I think, is that it is May. Like, it's still so much baseball left to be played, George.
Yeah.
And Alex Cora is a great enough manager to overcome it and figure it out. And this should be a really hot team down the stretch, I hope, knock on wood.
Yeah.
But right now, boy, I mean, it is a tall order to sort of fix the Red Sox right now.
Yeah, and it's something that happens early in the season, and right, it's May, but mid-July is going to come really
Absolutely.
quick.
That's what I'm saying. I'm glad it's now.
And this team has to put themselves in position.
Yes.
Because, again, you don't sign Alex Bregman. You don't trade for and extend Garrett Crochet.
That's right.
You don't make the moves of calling up a Christian Campbell and having him play, and if Amaya and Roman Anthony come up. You don't make all these moves along with the established vets that they have and the established leaders of this lineup.
Yep.
You don't make all these moves to be flirting with the wild card spot. It's to get back into the playoffs and be competing and have those foundational years. They have to make that right move for first base. It's tough for Triston Casas, too, because that's a guy that goes down. The Red Sox reportedly tried to shop Triston Casas in this past offseason. Like, his future is very murky. It's very mysterious, too. So for the player, I feel, but for the team, there has to be that sense of urgency, and that's going to be what's the quickest fix right now?
Sure.
And then what's the best long-term fix to get back to the ceiling of this?
I mean, bro.
And it was every conversation we started was with if they're relatively healthy. But relatively healthy, you can have the conversation. We saw catcher go down. Omar Narvaez was able to hold it down for quite some time.
Yeah.
But it's now you look at the lineup: Durant, Devers, Bregman, 1, 2, 3 hitter. Story at 4, Willier at 5. Like, that's not what you want. You want everyone further back in that lineup. And it just causes security for the hitters. It's guys you put around a guy like an Alex Bregman, people you put in front of and behind a Christian Campbell. Now it's Campbell hitting in front of a Romy Gonzalez. Like, that's a lot less security that he has for him.
I have it in front of me. 6 and 9 in 2-run games. So there you go.
And they're
just bad situationally late in games.
Yeah.
These close
Slate
games.
And Whitlock haven't had it.
Yes.
There's a Tanner Houck gem goes, 7 innings pitched.
Yeah.
What was it? 1 earned run. Bullpen blows it in an inning.
And by the way, we know this.
And the bats have cooled off as the game has gone on too. They get out to the hot starts, and then the bats slow down later in the game. So it's bullpen giving out, but it's also the bats not consistently making noise.
We also know this from the past few years of this team missing the postseason. But George, how often have you and I got to like August, September, end of the season, and we're like, okay, as you sort of mathematically get closer and closer to being eliminated from postseason play, and we start to sort of see the reality of that unfold. How many times have you and I gone back, looked at the schedule early, and be like, these series against even these bad teams, you have to beat White Sox. You have to beat, like, these are series you have to win, because as you get towards chasing pennants, it's like, if you dug the hole too deep for yourself early, because you and I, we just talked about how it is May, you can rectify this, you can fix this, but I mean, my God, once you start looking back on the schedule, George, at some of these series, and you're like, why were they 500?
Dropping 3 and 4 against the Blue Jays, 3 or 4 against the White Sox.
Some of these games, some of these series, you have to win. You got to figure it out. 2 or 3 against
the Twins, 2 or 3 against the Blue Jays.
Especially close, which is my point. Like, I hate seeing this pattern in this team, and that's on Alex Cora, and I believe he'll get it fixed.
Yeah.
But they're clearly not a good team late. They're not a situation. We use that a lot in football.
Yeah.
But they're not a situation. They're not good situationally.
It's literally like it's crazy, but it's like the 4th inning on with the bats.
Yeah.
And then once they get to inning 7, 8, 9, it's questionable with the bullpen.
That's right.
And the stretch of the schedule, it's Rangers, Royals, Tigers, Braves, Mets, Orioles. Those are all playoff teams.
Yes.
Potential playoff teams or teams coming off a playoff appearance. Like, this is such a tough stretch of the season.
Facts.
Walker Buehler's now banged up. Like, injuries come up. And this was a team that at the deadline had to acquire another bullpen arm, possibly another starting pitcher.
Yep.
And now they have to start kicking the tires on what are we doing with first base? Do we trade for someone? Do we trade for a prospect that's on the cusp of a major league debut? Do we get more out of the prospect pool? Do we move guys that, like a Rafael Devers, like a Wilyer Abreu? And it's the same conversation. I know, like, Willier's never played first. He's never played first. Mm-hmm. Neither has Devers. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's like, okay, what works best defensively and what makes sense for the lineup? And if they get an uptick from a Roman Anthony, that's why I look at Wilyer Abreu, Gold Glove winner and right. But does he make that move to first? And again, this is all about this team and what's best for the guys coming up.
Hey, we want to hear from you. Email us at chat@nesson.com. You can also tweet at us using that hashtag NessonChat. What do you do at first base? How do you get this? We just talked about losing close games late as well with the Red Sox. What advice would you give Alex Cora to fix that? We want to hear from you. And if you want to be a part of the chat, which we always invite you to do, whether you have a question about a team or need life advice, or even if you have something you just need to get off your chest, say it with your chest, with us. Tweet at us using the hashtag NessonChat or email the chat@nesson.com. We need to hear from you. We are interactive. Check out new episodes of Boston Has Entered the Chat on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever else podcasts are found. All right, Julian Edelman elected into the Patriots Hall of Fame.
Awesome.
This feels very duh to me, right? I mean, there it is. Patriots put this tweet out. Foxborough forever. Julian Edelman in the Patriots Hall of Fame, elected to the Patriots Hall of Fame. This is a no duh. I mean, listen, like, even being on the outside looking in at Jules' career, you always had to respect him. You know, I covered a lot of teams that hated the Patriots, man. Mm-hmm. I remember the Ravens specifically. And even Ravens fans and media was like, this Julian Edelman, man, you got to give it up. There's no, even if you hated that Patriots dynasty, which a lot of people around the country did, you had to respect the work that Julian Edelman put in, the clutch plays that Julian Edelman did, the way he trained, the way he played the game of football, the way he carried himself as a leader, the way he was Tom Brady's, him and Gronk were Tom Brady's guys. I think Jules, getting elected to the Patriots Hall of Fame is about as no-brainer as it gets. And
that's a guy that 7th-round pick, and it took him he was just hanging on to a roster spot. The first 4 years. Mainly, he made it on as a returner specialist. 7th-round pick, played quarterback, converted to receiver.
Undersized.
Definitely. And then it was that 2013 season on that hit. And then he was also there for winning 3 Super Bowls and getting a Super Bowl MVP on top of it on his resume. This was a no-brainer, 100%. But my reaction to this one was, it's still not Adam Vinatieri. Bill Parcells, Robert Kraft's made amends with him. He's now going to the Patriots Hall of Fame. He'll wear a red jacket. He'll go in with Julian Edelman. Both deserve it. But Adam Vinatieri won 3 rings, is the greatest kicker of all time, has NFL records, most career points scored, most regular and postseason games played, most career field goals made, most career overtime field goals, most postseason field goals ever in the history of the NFL. And yes, he played more seasons with the Colts and won a Super Bowl with them, played more seasons with them than the Patriots. But this is a guy, when you close your eyes, you go Adam Vinatieri, you picture him in a Patriots helmet. He had the game-winning field goal to send them to their first ever Super Bowl appearance. He had the field goal that sends into overtime in the Snow Bowl game. Greatest kicker of all time. And he's still not in the Patriots Hall of Fame. Where that's where Edelman could get it next year. Get him in now, fine. Vinatieri has to be in next season.
Yeah.
To me, it's absurd that he's not in the Patriots Hall of Fame yet. It makes absolutely zero sense at all. And I think that sucks that surrounds when Julian Edelman, the announcement of him getting in.
Everyone goes there.
Why isn't Vinatieri getting in?
Yeah.
Put Vinatieri in, and it alleviates that from the next guys that get the honor of wearing a red jacket.
I completely agree with you. It is obviously because he went to the Colts. And listen, I will say this, kind of going back to Edelman here. Julian Edelman had an opportunity to go play with Tampa, with Tom. You remember that?
Yeah.
Tom was practically publicly begging, like, I got Gronk, just waiting on one more. Come on, Jules. And Julian Edelman stood on business, and he said, I'm a Patriot, bro. Like, I love you guys. Those are his BFFs, like me and you, straight bromance. Mm-hmm. And he's like, nah, I'm chilling. I'm a Patriot. I think that carries a lot of weight, George. Like, as we talk about the Vinatieri thing, Adam Vinatieri's like, that number 18 with the Colts, it's pretty damn good. I'm gonna go over there and win as well, just like I did with the GOAT, with Tom. Okay. Right? I'm not knocking him. I think both of us, hearing you, like, he should be in the Patriots Hall of Fame, no question.
Yeah.
But that's something, George. Like, Edelman chose, like, nah, I'm a Patriot, bro. Like that. I just think that carries a lot of weight. And I think Vinatieri's being punished.
He definitely isn't. It makes zero sense for it.
It's wrong. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying it's so obvious.
Yeah.
It's clear.
And that's why.
It's clear.
But it's like, you're going to keep making a statement against, it's the greatest kicker of all time.
Ever.
The Colts haven't retired his number yet, which I'm astonished they haven't.
See, that's a franchise.
Do you want that to happen?
They're doing
first?
dirty by him.
Right?
Right.
And that's what I'm surprised
by. If I'm the
by.
Colts, I would jump on this.
Right
like,
now.
they're doing him dirty.
Exactly.
He's a Colt. Come on in. I'd open my doors to him and try to claim him. The fact they're not doing it's terrible.
That number four in New England's iconic because of Adam Vinatieri.
Of course.
Give it to him.
Yeah.
Put him in. Put him in the red jacket. And the following year be Edelman.
I agree.
And I don't believe the Patriots don't have any break off of you have to be not playing for an X amount of years or not be a Patriot for an X amount of years.
Okay. I always assume that
Think about Vrabel's been elected into the Patriots Hall of Fame, and he was traded to the Chiefs, and he was coaching for an opposing NFL team they put him in.
That's right.
Bill Parcells, again, him and Robert Kraft had their beef going way back, especially Bill Parcells and Jonathan Kraft. Okay, they're electing him in now. Whatever that beef is, he's the greatest kicker of all time. Julian Edelman, no doubt about it, Patriots Hall of Famers, one of the best slot receivers of all time. But you have the greatest at his position, and you haven't given him the red jacket yet. Like, how?
Who's your favorite Patriot not named Tom Brady of all time? Because mine's actually Julian Edelman. I still, to this day, I've had arguments with people over this. I'm curious. I wish we could do like a poll or something to get what people think. But I've had, not in this town. I know who's going to win. But I've had serious debates with people who say the greatest catch ever was the Tyree helmet catch. And I always say, no, it's the Edelman catch against the Falcons in the 28-3 Super. I actually think the Edelman catch is more impressive. So I would love to get votes on that because I always argue for that. But Julian Edelman's my favorite Patriot. Not Tom's my number one, but Edelman's too, because I just don't think, and this is going to sound mean to Julian Edelman. I don't mean it this way. But if you put him on the damn Jets or insert terrible franchise, Raiders or something, I don't even think he has a career. I mean, respectfully. What he did with Tom is just, I think it's almost, not to go too deep on you, George, it almost feels like the American dream, kind of. Like, here's this kid who has no business being here, who put in the work with another guy that people didn't think would be here, drafted in the 6th round. They put in work together, and they grew to be absolute titans in the game. Behemoths, all-time great champions. Like, to me, that encapsulates what I think the Patriot way is, right? Like, I love that sort of lunch pail kind of hard hat story, and I feel like Julian Edelman is that. He's my favorite Patriot outside of Tom Brady.
Man, that's a good question. I just go back to the OG team, like the first dynasty.
Like McGinnis and all that.
Richard Seymour for me, and I loved me some Rodney Harrison.
Beast.
And then you just
Seymour was nasty.
You go through those teams too. I think like Vince Wilfork, but
Brewskis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like those star-studded teams.
Law.
Love Ty Law. And then I just think of then you go to like the second half of the dynasty. To me, it's like a Devin McCourty, obviously a Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
So man, it's tough for me to pick favorite non
non-Tom
Brady Patriot.
That's tough, right? Like if you're doing like top 3 non-Bradys, you could do that. I'll go Edelman 1, Gronk 2, then I'll probably go OG.
You're going fan favorite.
I'll go OG. I'll go for me.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready. Edelman 1, Gronk 2, Ty Law 3.
I would go, and I'm just going off like pure joy of watching them play.
Yeah.
It would be Gronk 1.
Okay.
Edelman's up there too.
Okay.
But I don't want to put him yet. I'd go Gronk 1, Richard Seymour 2, and then it's tough watching all those years of how productive Julian Edelman was. And it was that Super Bowl in 2018, the 2018-19 season.
He should be in everyone's top 3.
I would go
Edelman
at 3.
Is it fair to say, let's put a bow on this combo. Julian Edelman, if you're a true Patriots fan, right? He's got to be in everyone's top 3. Don't you think? I don't
Depends on the era.
See, I didn't grow up here, so I don't want to claim something, but I'm like,
there's Ben Coates.
I know, bro, but I think Edelman has to be top 3.
I would not.
He has to be.
I would not think so. I can't confidently say that.
We need to hear
They were
from
a bad
you.
team for a long time, but they had a lot of good players.
They have.
They had a lot of good players. That's what I keep in mind.
We need to. This is where we say we're interactive. Please tell us what you think. All right.
In 10 years, you know who's going to be in that top 3?
Drake May.
Yeah.
What does he need to get there? You got to have at least one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. You're the guy who restores that feeling that Tom. Yeah.
And he'll be a top 5 quarterback.
He
in
has
the NFL.
a fast. I would agree with that. That's a topic for another day. Drake May has a fast track to become an all-timer.
At this point, how bad it is
for the franchise.
It's getting back to winning playoff games. That's how That's how long it's been.
If he gets his first Super Bowl, Drake May gets.
Yeah.
Boom.
He'd be the second quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl in franchise history.
But I will say, I think Edelman's top 3 in everyone's list.
All right.
I really do.
All right.
I don't think it's possible to not have him there. If you're enjoying the show, you can catch new episodes of Foxborough Rush every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, where George and I do this. We just debate and go back and forth over and over again. You can get all the latest news and discussion surrounding your New England Patriots as we head through this offseason. It's available on Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Twitch, YouTube, and wherever else you get your podcast. All right, George, let's go to what's trending. 3 things that are trending in the world of sports. We'll go 3 minutes on the clock for each. Did you see this? So you and I continue to talk about the Bill Belichick drama.
Jordy and Bill.
With Jordy and Bill. Bill Belichick has decided, you know what? I'm looking for some help here. Bill Belichick is looking for an outside PR firm's help per Pro Football Talk. Per multiple sources, Belichick has been talking to at least one experienced PR specialist in the hopes of boosting his book tour.
Oh.
You know, it's all about that, right? And getting out from under all this nonsense.
What happened on his book tour that would make him want to hire a PR specialist?
Yeah. How about you just stick to the book and we don't have any issues here?
This is hilarious. And I understand. You and I were like, we were yelling at each other about the same thing, though.
Yes.
Where you were like, I've lost sympathy for Bill because if you put her in that position, you got to live with the repercussions.
You see my side.
Yes, 100%. Where I'm just going, when you do put someone in that position, but they're overstepping like that, like I'm coming at them and the guy that made the decision.
Facts.
This is hilarious because this is 1,000% now the publisher and UNC going to Bill and being like, clean it the F up. Like Simon & Schuster, Smith & Schuster, whatever the publishing company was like, we gave you the easiest thing in the world. 30 minutes with CBS. They're going to cut up the best 15.
Don't fumble.
And you're going to become likable.
Don't fumble it.
Don't F it up.
Right.
And she did. And you can't keep her in check. Get a pro in there.
God.
Fix this. And then UNC, the same thing. They're like, we're not going to keep putting out statements on our website about how you guys met, about her.
Oh.
And all of this public backlash. Like, we are a laughingstock. You're making a joke of UNC, which is a basketball school, even with Belichick there. This is just like when Robert Kraft went to Bill Belichick after Matt Patricia and Joe Judge were his OCs and go, you're hiring Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
Publisher, UNC, slapped Belichick on the wrist to go, we're taking over now. We're forcing someone into this role. And I think it's absolutely hilarious.
Who couldn't see this coming? I mean, honestly, but it does go back to, and I don't want to go back to our debate. I'm glad you brought it up. But it kind of goes back to what I was saying, bro. He empowered her. Yeah. And it was the wrong move.
Yes.
No question.
Yes.
And this move tells you that he's realizing, oh, snap, I made a mistake empowering her for that role. I'm not saying she shouldn't have a place on the team doing something. She's obviously valuable in whatever way. No. But it shouldn't be this.
What's the value?
It shouldn't be this.
Bill Belichick's the value. You don't need anyone else.
They say he's the prize, he's the catch.
He is. He's supposed to be. And I guarantee you it's not him. It's not him making this decision. His ego, his arrogance.
UNC.
He walks into that interview. He walks in any room going like, you guys should be so grateful that I'm even doing this. You should be thankful that like my girlfriend is doing this job for you. Like I am right. What do you idiots? What do you know about PR?
God.
This is the publisher and UNC 100% making this choice.
This whole thing's just, I just want it to end.
The best was,
can they break up or something?
CBS's statement of like, we never had the conversation about keeping it to the book.
Yeah.
And that's all we're going to say. Like CBS was like, we're not getting into this pissing match with you and your
we said we want to see the all 22.
Yeah, and they're like, we're not even going to do that. And UNC's like, stop.
Honestly, I feel like most of us, even when you see a toxic couple, you say, well, that's not going to work, but you mind your business. This is the first time in my life. This is how I know I'm a hater. I'm rooting for them to break up. I want it over. I need this to end. I need it to end. We talk about this all the time. It's creepy from the beginning. Like, can we just have a mutual breakup? That'd be great.
I've had enough of it.
Bill and I have decided to go our separate ways. Great. I'm throwing a party when that tweet comes.
It's just like, ugh.
I know.
Every time I picture, ugh.
How about this? DC will host the 2027 NFL draft. So that is huge. All my friends back home are hyped for this.
Hey, new stadium, now get a draft.
Yeah, they got it going on.
And they're doing it, what do you call it? The mall? Monument
National Mall. So listen, I will say this.
Is that where the pool is?
Yes. I will say this. I'm going to bring it back to here. I think this is great news for New England, and here's why. DC, that traffic is awful. It is. It's worse in here. I'm just telling you from it. Yes.
They have an actual rail system there, though.
Now, that's where I was going to go. I'm glad you did that. This is why we work. Beautiful transition. So traffic there is worse, and the fact that the NFL's like, no big deal. Okay. The second thing, so DC's Metro, their train system, is better. It operates better than the T does here. It's faster. It's more dependable in terms of repairs, although it's a nightmare with repairs there too. But I'm not saying that to say it's the standard or it's great, because it ain't. Okay? It smells awful. And as I said, there are a lot of repairs always. So I look at this and I'm like, okay, if DC can get the draft, we can do this. I believe New England can handle this. Between the traffic situation, driving out to Foxborough, which is a nightmare, getting in and out of there. I'm not going to deny that. But let me tell you, driving in D.C. is worse. And then DC's Metro has a lot of the same issues as the T, although a little better. A lot of the same issues. The T stinks. Repairs are always happening. The T isn't dependable. Same with Metro and DC. A lot of the same things. I'm just telling you. So if DC can do this, New England can too. I'm just telling you. As being in both,
where?
I'm telling you what I can see.
Public Garden?
Oh, well, listen, I don't have all the answers.
Right?
I'm just saying
you're
it can happen.
You're going to do it like City Hall?
It can happen.
That awful, like just cement, disgusting, ugly setup.
I'm trying to give us hope. What are you doing?
They can do parades where you disperse millions of people throughout Boston. You're going to have 1 million plus people in Boston.
DC's
in
built
one
very
area.
Similar, bro.
Yeah, but there's somewhere to do it.
Yes.
National Mall. There's space. Where are you going to do it in Boston?
I say do it at Gillette.
Oh, no.
Why not?
Foxborough?
Look at his face. Can we get an ISO for George?
Everyone, congrats. Coming to the NFL draft in Boston. But guess what?
Can you give us that face?
It's 2 hours away with traffic.
Wait, let's redo it.
With some of the-
How about Gillette, George?
You're going to have people get all hyped to go to the NFL draft in Boston, and they're going to find out it's 2 hours away without awful public transport.
Well, where would you do it?
You're going to have everyone going down. You don't do it in Boston. You don't do it in Boston.
I think it's possible.
No.
Can we make this a vote, too? We got a lot of votes in this show.
I'm excited for this. I think it'll be cool.
It's great for D.C.
I'm so
I think it's possible.
I'm so skeptic of the cirque and pomp and the pageantry around it.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much forced political BS into it.
By 2027, we'll all be getting along by then.
Yeah, it's not going to be. This would have to be like 2035. We'd have to clean our palate of politics the last like 12, 15 years.
Yo, George is on fire in this
When they have a new stadium in 2030.
Facts.
Yeah, I'm not. This is.
It's almost too soon.
Next. Pittsburgh will be nice.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, light bulb.
No.
NFL
Draft at Fenway.
Oh.
There we go.
That could work.
There it is.
Yeah. That could work. You've done Winter Classics there. You've already done.
Stages Center. Dude, they've done
They've done
Dead
a ton
and Co.
of things.
Leonard Skinner concerts. That's where the draft stage goes.
Draft at Fenway.
And you fill it out.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
We just solved everything. Steph Curry and the Warriors defeat the Rockets for the 5th time in the playoffs since 2015. My goodness gracious.
Last 3
Game
series,
7, get out of here.
He's closed out in Houston every time to
I
eliminate
love
the
this
Rockets
Homer
in Houston.
meme too. Yeah, I mean, look, I almost feel bad for the Rockets because I was Mr. Rocket all year, as you know. And I really expected big things from this team. There was once upon a time I thought this Rockets team, coached by Ime Udoka, our old friend, could end up in the finals against the Celtics. And then, sure enough, they got a 2 seed. I look like a genius all regular season. Boom. Soon as the playoffs got close, you saw the Warriors as a potential opponent, and I said, oh, no. This isn't going to end well. We know how it's going to end.
Someone told you how it's going to end.
Steph Curry, you did. You called it. You and Ante both called it. I feel bad for the Warriors. They are a young, hungry team, well coached. For the Rockets, young, hungry team, coached by Ime. They're going to be fine. The future's bright. But as the Warriors go, I'm now convinced we're getting Warriors Celtics in the finals.
Especially with Clippers going down.
I think we're going to get a Steph against the Celtics again, but this time Celtics get revenge.
I think it's still Thunder Celtics no matter what. I think cream rises.
Okay.
But you watch that Rockets team, and there was a point where I'm pretty sure it was Steven Adams, Sengun, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, maybe Tari Eason on the floor. And Dylan Brooks is just trying to ISO on whoever. And I'm like, where is their
Such
score?
A loser.
And I'm like, where's their shot creator? And that was the issue and the fault with this Rockets team.
That's right.
They have the pieces. They got to make a big swing. They need someone that creates their own shot. Jalen Green, Amon Thompson have to take a big leap.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, flip some pieces. There's also Reed Shepherd on that bench. Like, you need to get shooters and get them minutes.
Does Durant work there?
Yeah, but at his age, he's so efficient. Yeah,
he's available.
Just it's been nothing but like leaving bodies behind everywhere.
I know, but for that team, George.
For this Warriors team though, that was Game 7 in Houston. That's when like legacies are created on the road. What Steph did, what Buddy Hield did, especially in that first half.
Hield, bro.
And it was, you felt that anxious crowd energy, and that's what's tough for a young team like the Rockets.
Yeah.
They get down. They're down against Steph. How it was, he kept hitting shots late too. His threes just being vintage Steph.
Sure.
Just absolutely just ripped their souls out. And how about Buddy Hield? And he hit that 3, and Steph did the night-night after he makes it. The aura. You hit a 3, and Steph does the night-night. That's how you know you're doing something right.
All right, let's, for the sake of this, since we have 30 seconds, go with I'm right, and it's Warriors-Celtics in the finals.
Okay.
How fitting would it be? Steph Curry, just listen to the storylines, another opportunity to get another championship for his legacy and what that means all time. But then on the other side of it, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown have lost to this guy in this spot before. Now they're back. It's their time, going for the repeat, trying to get revenge. I mean, listen, no disrespect to your Thunder Celtics prediction, but the NBA wants me to be right. Steph against the Celtics in the finals, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Ratings to the moon.
This should be the 3rd time the last 2 years they meet.
That's right.
The last 4
That's
years
what I'm saying. And the storylines. Steph all time, Celtics revenge.
Yeah.
I mean, this stuff writes itself.
Thunder.
For more on the Celtics' quest for Banner 19, make sure you check out Nesson's basketball podcast, Hold My Banner. It's available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever else podcasts are found. All right, let's end it here, George. We're talking about revenge. I said the Celtics will get revenge on Steph in the finals, I think. How about this? Mikko Rantanen, hat trick, a hattie, scores a hat trick and an assist in the third period for the Stars, 4-2 win over the Avs. So the Avs traded Rantanen to Carolina before he was flipped to Dallas.
Yep.
And, I mean, he just took over, and revenge was clearly on his mind here, George.
And he did it all like 8 minutes on into the third period. Goal, assist, empty netter.
Bury you.
Third period hat trick in a game 7, eliminating his opposing team.
Bury you.
And that's what the Avs made the mistake of. They traded Rantanen. They got the highest return possible. Carolina effed up by not having a extension and lock.
Too.
The Avs, when they traded Mikko Rantanen, they didn't expect to see it like this.
Right.
Sent him to the East. They're all good. That was just filthy. What, like, the sweet feeling of revenge? I think of him. I think of Luka when he went back to Dallas, dropped 45, 7 for 10 for 3 in Dallas, too.
Staring at Nico.
Exactly. The Fire Nico chance raining down.
That's a good call, bro. It just happened so recently. I didn't think of it. I started thinking of past revenge games. Can I say this about hockey quickly, though? These playoffs have been so good, as the Stanley Cup playoffs always are, George.
Yeah.
The difference is this time, like, not having the Bruins there, it just kills me. Like, usually, even if the Bruins lose, it's something in my mind, like, all right, they made it to but the fact they're not in the postseason at all, and this postseason has been so great, it just drives me nuts. With that being said, Rantanen's great, but let's talk greatest revenge games, because that was a good point that you brought up of Luka just now, going back to Dallas and ripping their face off. But how about the Sox in 04 beating the Yankees? People don't talk about this that much. That 03, them losing heartbreaking fashion to the Yankees.
Aaron Boone walk-off.
The Aaron Boone, and then coming back that next year, bloody sock and all, down 03, George. Mm-hmm. Yankees blow that lead. Sox go on. We know the rest of the story once you get to the World Series.
Yeah.
Who'd they play? Cardinals? I mean, that was like an afterthought. Once they beat the Yankees, you knew. But I think that feels like revenge, not only because of Boone the year before, but just countless years of the Yankees ripping their hearts out. That, to me, I know it's not a one player, but as soon as I start thinking revenge, I'm like, every time I think that in sports, I think to the 04 Sox.
Yeah, I think
it's like my default setting, I think.
I just think of the individual, the return. Brett Favre, first season with the Vikings.
Yeah.
Beat the Packers twice.
He did.
He had like 7 touchdowns,
no
interceptions.
Balling, bro.
Yeah. Just like gunslinger. That first season he was 09 with the Vikings. 2010 he was terrible.
That was a good one.
But 09 he was like floating. I think of that revenge performance.
That was good. How about Brady? I mean, Brady beat the Pats here.
Yeah,
that was.
I
don't feel like his numbers were nuts.
It was a boring game. It was raining,
but it was like a gritty. It was kind of Brady. Like it was bad weather. It was New England, and
Mac
there's
Jones
Brady
as a rookie making like start 4 of his career.
Let's not even bring. But Brady in a Bucs uniform, doing Brady
back
stuff.
in Gillette.
Yeah, but you know what I remember from that game, and again, I wasn't here, but I remember the reception being pretty warm, even though like he's in a different uniform. People didn't want to see Brady leave, so like him coming back here. Yeah, I guess it's a revenge on a personal level for him to win that game, but there's no bad blood. Like when you think of revenge, I think like bad blood, like hate is there, right?
Yeah.
Brady's reception here was still warm, even though he's in a Bucs uniform.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, it definitely was.
Like it's not like he was the Jets or the Dolphins.
At that point, and that was the Packers saying, we're not done.
Right.
We're done waiting for you. We're moving on.
Brady
was like, hey, welcome back. It was all good. Luka, that's hate in his heart against Nico Harrison and the Dumonts.
I tell you when I was in the building for Steve Smith, wide receiver for the Ravens. The Panthers came there, and he went off. He went nuts. And, in fact, that week leading up to that game, he was talking a lot of trash. Someone asked him, what would it be like? Did he take it personal? And in our world, George and I and other people in the media, when you ask those questions to players returning to a former place, we're already conditioned for it's just another game. Oh, this week doesn't matter. Oh, it's just enough. Steve Smith was like, no, like I'm going to rip them apart.
Good.
And sure enough, he did.
Yeah.
Like he went off in that game, and I remember like, damn, like I remember thinking like this is a player who clearly took it personal and wants to show the Panthers you gave up on me too early.
Yeah,
and he did.
Steve Smith's the type of guy that would do that too.
Here it is: 7 catches, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He smashed them, and it was a blowout.
Thrives off hate.
So I was there for that. That was intense.
Trying to think of any other revenge games.
Revenge games, man. I mean, look, you got to put Rantanen up there too.
Oh, I mean, 1,000%.
Right?
In a game 7
had
too.
he?
Yeah.
Bruh.
And he had the game tying goal, game winning assist.
Hockey.
And then that empty netter at the end.
Best postseason there is in sports. Don't at
Stanley
me.
Cup.
You just can't argue with
Stanley
us.
Cup playoffs.
It is. For Boston has entered the chat, Travis Thomas, George Balekji, and we thank you for always being a part of it. Till next time, when we're back in the chat again, peace.
Later.